Hi everybody, it's Marissa here from Earth Journey Healing with the weekly reading for the 5th of March 2018. And this week I am using a deck that is called the Enchanted Spell Oracle. And it is a beautiful deck that is very colourful and it does have spells in the book that it comes along with, and it's really about, helping you to create what it is that you want through using intentions and using herbs, anything from nature that will assist with that. So I've chosen 3 cards for the week ahead, and as you can see, the first card for the beginning of the week is the Wishes card. And the first thing I saw when I looked at this card was sort of like a land or a place in the background that looks like it's somewhere far away. So it's making me think that some of you that are watching this at the start of the week may be thinking of going somewhere, traveling somewhere exotic or somewhere different, somewhere that you haven't been before, something that will open you up to new experiences and a new way of seeing things. So if that's the case, it's asking you to really have a think about what you need to do in order to make that happen. So it could be going to the travel agency and seeing how much it's going to cost, going there and finding out, where you can stay, and doing a bit of research behind making that become a reality. Another thing in the card that jumped out is the priestess is going inward. She's closing her eyes and she's it looks like she's contemplating what is deep within her heart and what does she really want. Sometimes we can get caught up in what we think that we want, and we are just busy in our everyday life that we don't give time to stop and think about what our heart desires. And sometimes we don't make wishes because we don't think that it's possible for wishes to come true. A lot of the time, when I work with people, when we're doing sessions, I basically help them to understand that anything's possible, and that the only thing that's standing between you and what you want is sometimes the belief that you don't think that you can have it. So for at the start of the week, I'm just going to ask you to put that thought aside and ask, what would it be like if you did believe that that was possible? And maybe start writing some of those things down as if they are already happening, and see what it feels like if that was to happen in your experience. Now, I am a big one for believing that we're here to experience all different things in life, and it's really a matter of working out what it is that you want, and then asking how. What are the action steps that I can take to make that happen? So putting out for what you want, and then listening for the inner guidance on how to get that and how to make that possible. Or it could be about releasing those thoughts and feelings and beliefs where you feel like you can't have what you want. So the beginning of the week is really about looking at your desires, your hopes, your fears, your deep desires within your heart. Like if you had one thing that you could have that you really, really want, if you were to sort of really go inwardly and feel into that, it might be good to explore that, because for some of you it might be that there is a blockage towards what you're wanting and you need to look at that. It's not about negating it or pushing it to the side, hoping that that won't manifest. It's sometimes about bringing it to the forefront, identifying it and asking if it's really true. Once you do that, if it isn't true and if it's just something that we've made up in our mind or haven't really looked at, it will have more power over us because it's in the subconscious and we can't actually see it. Once we've identified something, if it is a blockage, we're then more able to move through it and create change in our life. So that's the beginning of the week. Coming into the middle of the week is the Ambition Priestess, and you can see she has the stag next to her and the birch tree. And this is really about starting to become a little bit more ambitious, starting to feel like it's possible, and if you have been feeling like a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I can really have this, I don't know if this is actually possible, the birch tree itself is really renowned for its resilience and its ability to thrive in harsh conditions. So if you have been going through a hard time, if you have been feeling like you're been stepping towards something and really working at it and really having, something that is close to your heart, not necessarily break through yet, it's saying not to give up and to keep going with it. It's really about stepping up into a leadership role as well, and knowing that you have the confidence that's required. So it could be about motivating yourself more in the direction that you're wanting to go, or helping others to become more motivated in their desires and the vision that maybe that you all have together. So it's really about stepping up and not taking no for an answer. So it might feel like you've got the odds stacked up against you, but one thing that I know and is something that I've experienced is if you keep going and you keep going through whatever challenges come up, and if you're still passionate about that particular pathway or that particular dream that you've got, keep going. Don't let the obstacles or the feeling of, that sense of, oh my God, this is so hard, or nothing seems to be moving. Don't let that deter you. The priestess of ambition is coming through to give you this message to continue down the path that you're going down, especially if you're enthusiastic about it. That sense of enthusiasm is pushing you forward for a reason. And like I said, if you feel like the odds are stacked up against you, hold on and just keep going. And yeah, just tap into that sense of confidence on who you are and the bigger picture and the divine guidance that you have within you, and keep moving through. And then we have inspiration, which is coming through at the end of the week, which is a lovely card to come into the weekend with. So the priestess of inspiration is really about insight, creativity, putting things into action form again. And what else? Let's have a look. It's really about finding ways to solve problems, finding exciting ways to look at a situation. It's about seeing that there's lots of different ways to come at anything that happens in life, and it's about finding that inspiration, that inspired part that is connected to your creativity that can bring through answers for you. And that can happen sometimes through being creative. So instead of focusing on the issue that you're going through, instead of focusing on what's not working, you can start focusing on doing something that you're actually really passionate about, something that you love, something that comes easy. It could be doing something artistic, and it takes your focus away from your issue, and you'll find that through delving into your creativity that you'll most likely have a breakthrough and gain inspiration to expand whatever it is that you're wanting inspiration on, or even if it's just to bring that feeling, which is kind of a bit of a magical feeling, inspiration for me. It's like you feel alive, you feel like there's things that you can do that will create change. And we're always changing, we're always growing, we're always faced with new situations that are asking us to come up with solutions or inspired thought or new ways about something. And so this card's basically saying at the end of the week, if you're feeling a little bit uninspired, do something creative that will put you back in the flow, that will put you back in that space where you feel feel good, and you can tap into that part of yourself, because we all have that aspect. Sometimes we get our thinking starts to cloud it, or there could be like a way of thinking that's sort of standing in the way of you being inspired to do something different. It might be how you've been told it has to be, or it could be a thought like everyone else is doing it this way, so it must be the right way. That type of thinking doesn't really allow for inspiration to come through. So it's really asking you to think outside the box at the end of the week. Ask for inspiration to come to you, and find ways to actually allow that to come through by getting out of your head. Stop that the thinking that's coming in that's kind of putting a lid on it, and just get outside. Sometimes just even being in nature, spending time around flowers and beautiful places can really help create inspiration, give you a new way of thinking, take you out of the old mindset, and really just light you up and give you new ways of tackling something, or even new ways of seeing yourself. I'm feeling for some of you. Sometimes we see ourselves that we have to be a certain way, and then, all of a sudden we get this idea that it's possible that we could be doing something completely different and actually step more into something that we're really passionate about, and that could possibly be an element of who we are that we may not have actually thought of before. So you might get some insight into coming into a new sort of area of yourself, or a new part of, it's almost like a new identity within you that you probably had never thought of before, something that you might have thought at the start of the week. Coming back to the first card, when you start thinking about what you want, you start to think about things that you secretly are passionate about, or something that you'd like to do that you possibly may not tell anybody else because it looks so far from, where you are and who you are that it could never be possible. But kind of like bring that out into the forefront of your mind and start to look at, bringing some ambition in and saying, yeah, maybe this is possible. Maybe this is something that I can do. Maybe this isn't coming up for me because it is part of my path, and I hadn't really thought of that before. And then at the end of the week, really coming into that, and it's what I'm feeling is it's like almost like, well, maybe I can do that, or maybe I am that, or maybe that is who I am, and maybe you hadn't seen that before, and maybe on the weekend or during the last part of the week, you're going to start to see that actually is who you are, and actually it is a possibility of you being able to bring that through into your life in some way, shape or form. So that is your reading for the week. I hope you've all enjoyed these cards. I think they're beautiful cards, and yeah, it seems like a lovely week ahead. Thank you all for watching, and until next week, have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.